Hey, welcome to Film Fanatics and a top 5 mini-sode. This one focusing on the live-action Disney films. My name is Dan.
My name is Justin.
And I'm Joe.
We've got Jungle Book in theaters and right on the heels of the Alice in Wonderland sequel, Through the Looking Glass. So we thought it would be a decent time to try a top 5 live-action Disney films. Let's start it off with Justin.
Well, if it pleases the court, I have 2 honorable mentions. First and foremost, I have to say Enchanted, I think, is criminally underrated. Great movie, doesn't get talked about nearly enough. And number 2, The Rocketeer, incredibly underrated as well, though if you go to Disney World, it gets a little more press, but somebody's got to do something with it at some point in time. Who knows? But to kick off my list, number 5, Mighty Joe Young. Now, I feel like this is easy to dismiss as being sort of King Kong on steroids, but I think it's one of those movies that honestly does its own thing and does it well. The acting's fairly good. The technical effects are actually very impressive, and I think it still holds up together fairly well. My number 4 is Tuck Everlasting. This is one that I quite literally had to be forced to watch because
William Hurt.
William Hurt, yes, but no, the marketing for this made it look like such a chick flick. And it's not.
It's a stupid name, too.
Oh, it's based on a book, so it's not entirely their fault. But
he lasts a long time.
Oh, yeah. I know.
But it's actually a pretty good story about what does it mean to be immortal, sort of the fragility of life, and handles it in a very serious and mature way while still being a kids movie, which I thought was really cool. My number 3 is one that doesn't get talked about at all and didn't even really when it came out, and that's Disney's The Kid.
Pretty good movie.
I was a little bit disappointed when this came out because I thought it was going to be a remake of the Charlie Chaplin film. It's not.
Oh, God. Of course you did.
I grew up with silent films, shoot me. But anyways.
Big demand for that one.
But no, I think this is a really fascinating concept of if you were to meet a younger version of yourself, what would happen? And I think the interplay with Bruce Willis and the young child actors is great and surprisingly serious. A lot more so than I thought it was going to be from the trailers.
How often have you called the ambulance, Justin?
Hey, it was our go-to in marching band in high school. So.
Oh wow.
But my number 2, probably the most criminally underrated on this list, and that is Holes. This was probably one of my favorite books in grade school, and honestly one of the most faithful adaptations to screen I have ever seen. I'm appalled at the marketing that they did for this movie. They made it look like a really cheap comedy.
And good beef, right?
Wait, what?
Good beef.
Good beef. But no, just really well put together. Say what you will about Shia LaBeouf, it actually does a solid job here, and honestly deserves more love.
Well, I think we're noticing an interesting, I don't want to say generational, but, I'm a good 10, 12 years older than you, Justin. I'm interested to hear Joe's list because most of my movies are from the classic 60s Disney era. Mm-hmm. When I was growing up, we watched all of those early 60s movies, the Apple Dumpling Gang and, Swiss Family Robinson and all that kind of stuff. So it's interesting that almost all of yours are from the last
90s, 2000s.
50, yeah, 90s and up. And I actually haven't seen most of yours either.
I tried to go a little more under the radar, but
well, I like I said, most of mine are classic. I don't have a specific honorable mention, but I will say that really a lot of the ones recently have been very good. Oz the Great and Powerful is fantastic.
Definitely.
I do agree Enchanted is very, very good. Into the Woods, I enjoyed a lot.
Short list.
But for me, I'll start it off with the 1961. In fact, 3 of my 5 have been remade into other live-action Disney movies. And this is one of them, The Parent Trap. And this is the Haley Mills version from 1961 with Maureen O'Hara from Miracle on 34th as well. Just a fantastic movie. I haven't seen all of the Lindsay Lohan movie, so I don't know quite how it compares, but I did like Lindsay is a young actress, so I'm sure it's probably fine.
That was okay.
Probably.
And speaking of young actresses, I guess if I did have a specific honorable mention, it might be Freaky Friday, which I've seen both versions. The Jodie Foster version's great. The Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis version is also great. But number 4 for me, Saving Mr. Banks. This is the newbie on the list.
Yep.
An A+, when I did it, or when we did it on the show here a couple of years ago. I just thought it was great to see Walt himself be in one of these movies, obviously, played by Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
But just a great concept based on, in its own right, a classic Disney film.
Truly.
Number 3 is The Shaggy Dog. Again, this will be the original. The Tim Allen version's fine, but
Not
the
the
original Fred McMurray is fantastic. I think that's the oldest one on my list. That may be late 50s even.
Oh, really?
But this is one growing up we watched all the time. Very funny, great for kids. And number 2 is another Lindsay Lohan remake, but this is the original Love Bug. The first Herbie
Very
movie.
nice.
Herbie.
Obviously, they've done quite a few of these. Herbie Goes Bananas, Herbie Rides Again.
Yeah.
And the Lohan one was what? Herbie...
Fully loaded.
Fully Loaded, yeah, which I couldn't get through personally. But apparently,
okay.
neither could she.
No.
So, but no, this is just, Disney sort of in that classic, vein of something nutty happening, and we just all go with it because it's Disney, and sort of like Flubber, and all those kind of movies. But that's another one we watched a lot growing up. So Joe, I'm interested to hear whether your list skews more current or more classic.
What if it was a mixture?
Well, from you, I could expect it.
Well, because we're doing honorable mentions, I'll have 2.
Okay.
Well, the first one's National Treasure, which I think is actually a pretty solid adventure
Good choice.
movie, And the other one, of course, is the great Operation Dumbo Drop, which Justin reminded me I had to bring up. Because it is actually a pretty fun
You do
movie
love it.
that I would legitimately bring. I loved that movie as a kid. I actually like it more than the actual Dumbo film.
Wow.
So
Truth comes out.
the truth does come out. But anyway, my actual top 5, we're going to start with The Three Musketeers, because I think that Disney honestly has presented the best version that I've ever seen.
And this is the early 90s
Sutherland, Platt.
Right.
I keep forgetting that's them.
Yeah, it's one that I think people easily overlook, but it's just I think it gets the spirit of the novel right, obviously heavily abridged.
Oh, yeah.
But anytime you have Tim Curry as a bad guy.
I've actually not seen it.
It's fun.
I've seen most of it.
It's like...
It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun, and it's, I guess, more... serious and, violent than your average family movie from the early 90s for Disney. But I just think
Easily.
the actors have a lot of great chemistry. I think
my
it's
gosh,
funny.
yeah.
It's a good-looking movie, pretty good production. It's good. It's one that's not talked about too much. Number 4 is Something Wicked This Way Comes, which is another horror sci-fi-esque thing that's Disney. One that nobody talks about. Just one of the most disturbing Disney films I've ever seen. And it's
I
just...
definitely don't know it.
It's based on... Ray Bradbury's novel, and it's just this kind of horror fantasy thing. So it's actually not the only avenue we saw that Disney's taken with horror, but it's one of the few.
Not just watching the woods. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the one that I saw growing up, and I will admit it scared me. Just in terms of some of the effects, and the villain is really frightening. So you guys, if you haven't seen it, check it out. I believe it's from the 70s or something. It's good. Let's see. My number 3 though is a highly nostalgic one. That is The Santa Claus with Tim Allen.
It's a good movie.
Because it's a really good movie. Quite possibly my favorite Christmas movie. I absolutely love it. Could watch it anytime.
That was one that I feel like the cult following killed it for me.
You've never seen the original?
No, I have seen the original, but I saw the original after it was established and everyone was talking about how amazing it was.
Well, this is the thing, though. I have never encountered anybody else that's ever talked about it. In my family, it's one of those ones we liked growing up. And I never saw the sequels, so I never saw the damage done.
And you don't need to.
I don't want to.
3 was fine.
Yeah, well...
I like Martin Short, though.
Martin Short's fine, but, I don't know if we could say whatever. I never saw it. I can't judge it. But I love the Santa Claus. I think it's a fun idea. Tim Allen's in top form. Love the story. Number 2 is just one of the best productions I think Disney's ever done for live action, and that was the original Pirates of the Caribbean. And I can't deny, despite the fact that I really don't like the series overall, that first movie
one is
was
good.
just fantastic. Absolutely loved it. Great effects. Depp was great. It's Pirates of the Caribbean. Enough said.
Yeah. 5th one coming.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
For better or for worse.
All right, Justin?
Well, my number 1, surprise, surprise, Remember the Titans.
Wow.
We've talked about this one to death. I'm going to try to avoid hitting home any details we've covered 19 times over.
It is a good movie.
Denzel's amazing. It's probably the gutsiest thing Disney has done in a long time. And
what about McFarlane?
I was thinking $1 Million Arm myself.
For another day, but $1 Million Arm happened. But
so did $1 Million Duck. Don't forget.
Don't forget.
Yes. Lest we forget. Strangely absent from all three of our lists and shedding tears over that.
I never even heard of it.
But yeah, just solid all-around movie.
You can agree with that.
All right. Well, I will stick with my classic theme. And number one, there was never any question about this. It's got to be Mary Poppins.
Always.
There's a hint of animation there in that one scene, but this is obviously a live-action Disney film.
Definitely.
And for a time, this was probably in my top 10. As a kid, I must have watched this, a couple dozen times. The songs are fantastic. It's hard to believe now, after watching Saving Mr. Banks, that anybody other than Dick Van Dyke was thought of in this role.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, insane. It is, other than his own TV show, this is his iconic role. And obviously, Julie Andrews, fantastic.
Always.
And interestingly enough, you don't feel the length of this. It is a long movie. It's probably 2.5 hours.
It is.
But between all the musical numbers and then the comedy bits and then the drama, it's just great. Joe?
Well, after much deliberation, the greatest live-action Disney movie for me is Mary Poppins.
Ooh.
I thought.
Right.
I
nice.
thought nothing else on the list really matched it for me.
Yeah.
And really, pretty much everything Dan said is great. It just kind of holds that testament, absolutely. It's fantastic.
And I watched it, these other ones I mentioned from the old days, I haven't seen in probably 20, 25 years. This one I watched again maybe 4 years ago. It was before Saving Mr. Banks came out, maybe by a year or two. Mm-hmm. And, God, it still holds up. Everything about it is just magical.
But I would think that we could all agree that Sherry Bobbins might be a little better.
Sherry Bobbins is truly a classic, and the Barney the Booze Hound song
Ricky
instead
Rouse
of Tuppence a
and,
Bag is
Ronald
great.
Buck and all those great characters.
That is probably top 3 Simpsons parodies, I would say.
It's pretty good
ever. The Sherry Bobbins, but all right, well, good list all around. We'll see how Alice Through the Looking Glass compares. Obviously, we all sort of felt pretty solidly about the Jungle Book.
Yeah, pretty solid.
A couple complaints here and there, but for the most part, one of their better live-action adaptations.
Actually,
considerably.
I don't know about you guys, but I was really kind of hestant about Disney doing all these live-action creations.
Yeah.
But so far,
most of them, other than Maleficent, I think, which was a bit mixed.
Which is a bit of a betrayal, in my opinion.
But Cinderella was great.
It was good.
Cinderella was good, yeah.
All these other ones. Jungle Book was good.
So it's pretty good start so far.
And their slate is pretty full up. Every year for the next 5 or 6 years, there's 2 or 3 of these coming out. They're doing, another Dumbo and live action Winnie the Pooh,
Beauty and the
Beast.
Yeah, so they're probably not all going to be gems, but hopefully more good than bad.
Than not.
Yeah. So all right, well that is going to do it for us, and we'll see you back here next time.